Greetings, Chairman, Chairwoman. With all due respect, I'm here to address the entire governing body and not you as an individual, so don't take this personally. It might sting. We not live in a society where the public determines public policy. For if we allowed the public to determine public policy, popular ballot initiatives that the majority of DC voters supported wouldn't be threatened by repeal or denied funding and allowed to wither and die on the vine for less amount of cost that was paid for a stage and the coal for a president that we all despise in this city. Too many public officials are playing in the public's faces. How can the mayor and this city council, on the one hand, supposedly denounce congressional overreach and interference into DC local affairs on the basis of achieving statehood and self-determination, then simultaneously, on the other hand, deny the very will of the majority of the people that actually elected them? Make it make sense, because the math ain't mathing. Are you here to represent the will of your constituents or the will of someone else? If so, who are they? Is it campaign donors? Is it municipal bondholders? Is it the federal city council with their thumb on the scale, barking orders and writing corporate-approved legislation? Because clearly, you're not listening to the people that actually elected you. Feigning this parental relationship where we don't know no better. When I became a founding board member of the Douglas Community Land Trust, no council member at that time or the mayor actually knew what a community land trust was. Now here we are, with the mayor now claiming she wants to prevent the loss of restaurants from the fallout of Initiative 82 implementation that poses the ridiculous notion that you actually have to pay people a living wage in a city with one of the highest housing costs in the country, when in reality, we actually have more restaurants open in the city today than when we had before the popular ballot initiative passed. Again, too many public officials are playing in the public's face, promoting the condescending notion that ranked choice voting is too complicated for the people to understand, when in reality, the largest city in America has successfully implemented ranked choice voting. In fact, there's a very popular candidate in the New York City mayoral race right now that's supporting a rent freeze, when our own elected officials here act like there's nothing they can do about the exorbitant housing costs in this city. Except for a rental act and one of the largest state-owned subsidies in the history of America that demands that the public give up more to attract more private equity and investors to result in more gentrification and displacement. Too many public officials are playing in the people's face. Instead of telling the people the truth that ranked choice voting is more democratic than our current system by unseating unpopular incumbents, it is a direct threat to the status quo. In DC's last mayoral race, Muriel Bowser received less than 50% of the vote. If DC had ranked choice voting in 2022, Robert White would be mayor. And Robert White should be mayor, with 51% of the city voting against the incumbent, which explains why she and her paid followers are against ranked choice voting, but it does not explain why her challengers are not supporting ranked choice voting. What is the difference between a DC Democrat and a congressional Republican? Here is an opportunity to differentiate yourselves, because the U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders said that Democrats are as complicit as the Republicans, that our two-party political system is corrupt, and if this council and the mayor that's up for re-election turns its back on the popular vote of DC residents, then they themselves are complicit to the fascist Project 2025 Republican agenda that prioritizes corporate interests and private equity over the will of the majority of the people. Politico magazine said it best: Trump 1.0 was resistance. Trump 2.0 is acquiescence. This council must decide where they stand in this crucial moment in history. Otherwise, keep the word democracy out of your mouth and stop playing in our face. On July 28th in 2015, Tom Hartman, the #1 progressive talk radio host in America, only heard on WEAC Radio in Washington, D.C., interviewed the late great former U.S. President Jimmy Carter when he asked about Citizens United that claims corporations are people and money is free speech. This is what he had to say on WEAC Radio. America is just an oligarchy with unlimited political bribery being the essence of getting the nominations for president or being elected president, and the same thing applies to governors, U.S. senators, and Congress members. So now we've seen a subversion of our political system as a payoff to major contributors who want and expect and sometimes get favors for themselves after the election is over. At the present time, the incumbents, Democrats and Republicans, look upon this unlimited money as a great benefit to themselves. Somebody that is already in office has a great deal more to sell. What is the mayor and this council trying to sell us? Because with 74% Initiative 82 support and 73% ranked choice voting support means that the majority of DC voters are not buying it. No sellouts or F around and find out in the next election.
Thank you.